When is the live? Okay.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Tamika Russell. I am your personal life purpose coach. I am here with you with the 8 cycles of wellness.com, of course. So that's www.8cyclesofwellness.com. Today, we are coming to you with the show, Who is Your Father? Who's your daddy? Honey. So now we are, because Father's Day is coming up. So we want to talk about that. We are here with Pastor Mario Hill, the one and only, coming all the way from down south to talk to us about who's your daddy. All
Who's
right.
your daddy? I love it. Who's your daddy? Yes.
Yes, this is going to be an interesting topic because the year that we're in, it is interesting to know who is your daddy. But again, tune in. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be live on Facebook soon. But listen, come on. So we're going to know. So now let's start with this because this topic now if this was 19, even let's not even go back that far. 1980, 1960. If we just said, "Who's your father?" It's Father's Day. It may have been an easier question to answer at that time. My dad, the male that's in my house, the guy that's raising me. My mom, my dad. It's easy to answer, but it's not 2023. So that question is a little broader. It's a little broad because that question could be answered in so many different ways. Now, so,
it looks different for every household. Who's your daddy? Looks a lot different. It depends on what your household is, the structure of your household.
Yes.
And, because we're in 2023, we have to be sensitive to the different structures of different households. It's not a thing anymore of my dad was the one who had me with my mom. You know what I mean? It's not just that simple anymore. So, yeah.
Right. So how do we answer that question now? Like how do we, because that question is kind of like my dad is the masculine one in the household, because the household makeup has changed tremendously. So the household makeup now is like, it could consist of so many different things. It could consist of just a mom, 2 moms, just a dad, 2 dads. So it's kind of like that question is broad. It's broad. So even though Sunday is Father's Day, we know that it's going to be celebrated by so many different people in so many different ways. So it's kind of like, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about that today.
So I know that so Father's Day is so it's a little different for me. I absolutely love being a father. I do. I count it an honor being a father. Let's get that out the way. I count it an honor to be a father. Yeah, it's been a road because I didn't grow up with a father. I didn't grow up with a father. My father, there was one participating in the creation, but when I turned 3, he was gone, and so my mom never played the role of father. Never played the role of my father. She was just a super mom, and she doubled up on her duty. So the father was never there. Throughout the year, I went to visit and try to connect or whatever. We just couldn't make the connection. So I realized that it just wasn't our thing for whatever reason. Because I certainly don't say he was wrong and he should have did this and he should have did that and everything. In his situation to say that. I don't have enough information to that situation to say, well, he was a bad boy, he did this and he did that. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what mental space he was in. I don't know. So would I have liked to have been there? Absolutely. Would I have liked to have the fairy tale version of my father is here, and sometimes it's just not like that. And so nowadays we have to be creative. You know what I mean? Okay, that one didn't work for me. Who else? You know what I mean? Yeah. So who else I got? But I just it's just different. It's different. So I cling to different male figures that was in my life. You know what I mean? But I got a piece of information from an uncle, or got a piece of information from a family friend, or whatever it was, and kind of created my own father in my life of who I needed to pull whatever from, based on what I thought I needed,
Right.
Because we don't really know, right? We don't know what we need and what we don't need. Right. But what I thought I needed, I just pulled it from different people.
Right.
And yeah. So.
yeah. So there's so many different ways to look at this, because like you said, we just have so many different dynamics, because when we ask who's the father, like you said, we have fathers that are missing, in the home, and then we have fathers that are in the home and are missing.
Yes.
So we have that, that are not emotionally there.
I'm trying to think of which one is worse. You know what I mean? Because if they're not there, I don't know. I don't know which one is worse, because maybe they were there for what you needed them to be if they were in the house. I don't know which one is worse, because sometimes I remember when I was younger, I was like, man, I would love to have a father, and because that's what I saw. I saw kids with their father or whatever. But would that have messed me up? Would that have thrown me off of track of what I was destined to be or what I was supposed to be? And how would that have looked in my life now? How would that look in the relationship I have with my children, or my godchildren, bonus children, all of this? Because I have a total of 32 god kids.
That's a lot of god kids. That's a lot.
But the good thing is I know them all and I talk to all of them.
Okay.
So we're not just collecting kids, because I've seen that too. People just collect kids and just, I see you're my god kid and this. No, I actually talk to these kids. Like, I talk to them and reach out to them. It may not be an everyday thing, but I do talk to them.
I hope their parents are all healthy.
Yes, I do. So I have 32 god kids. I have 4 kids and 4 bonus kids, because the bonus kids don't want to be put in the category of god kids, but they like more than that, and so I need to be closer. And so what works for them, what we work it out, and so I think about, if I had grown up with a father in the house, how would that have had shaped that relationship with them? How could I be that to them? I can be that now because I just focused on being what I was missing. And I was missing somebody being there, being able to listen and stuff. It wasn't even all financial. A lot of my god kids, a big chunk of them, I ain't gonna say all of them, they know who they are. A big chunk of them don't look for anything financial.
Right.
Like they really don't. It's more of the relationship piece. It's the have somebody that support me. Have somebody that somebody to show me what it is to be a man. Honestly. Oh, Tamika, what we about to go with this conversation? Honestly, because we've had this warped idea of a man strong, a man doesn't cry, a man doesn't help, a man stand on his own. That ain't it. That ain't it. Because now if I teach my kids that men don't cry, what do they do with their emotions? And now they become grown men in relationships, and they're unavailable because they've been suppressing them all their life. Now they don't know what to do with their emotions. So yeah.
Go there. Go there.
So, like, I teach them, I'm like, listen, we're going to cry. We're crying together. The OJ said, cry together. We cry together. So I tell my sons, I tell my daughters, listen, y'all cry, get it out. Because crying is a sign of release. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of release. You got to release it somewhere. And you have to be in touch with your feelings. You know that I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm glad. You got to be, because if you suppress them, men ain't supposed to feel that. Men ain't supposed to be too happy. Men ain't supposed to be like, what? What's that?
Right. Then what is a man? What do you do with those emotions that you have?
What do I do with?
If nobody's there to tell me what to do with those emotions, I don't know.
Absolutely.
And if it's being directed from a woman, now I'm expressing my emotions like a woman. Mm-hmm. And I'm being directed how to act like a woman. So now when I marry or get with a woman, I'm being a mate like a woman. Yeah. And I'm not being a mate like a man. So now a woman that's looking for a woman that's now looking for a man is now getting a reaction from a man that's now acting like a woman. So it's like, you're not acting like a man because I'm being trained by a woman.
Oof.
And now you're getting a little conflict in a relationship, not understanding why.
Yeah.
Because of when men are being trained emotionally by women, you know, and men are being trained, kind of being raised and trained only by women. And when they get into relationships, women are wondering why does it seem like he's more of a girlfriend to me, you know, and he's not acting like a man. I'm like, there's something missing from this guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're great when we're cool, you know, at the beginning, like we're kind of cool, but there's something missing.
But people are quick to,
the part is missing.
People are quick to label that as he's homosexual. Because he's more in touch with his feminine side, right? Because he was raised by a woman and she taught him the emotional piece as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
There was no male there, but now he could be all male, love one in a very sexual way. But now, because of his mannerisms, or because he does know how to cry, because he does know how to say I'm sad or I feel some way, now we attack that, because this is what society has taught us. We attack that as, oh, that's not a man. You need to man up. You need to do this. You need to do that. And that just doesn't work. That doesn't work, because people become frustrated grown men.
Right. And it's not that men don't cry, and it's not that men don't express themselves, but they do it in a different way. So, okay, so it's that, okay, men do cry, because I've seen my father express himself, you know, in many ways, whether it be crying or whether it be, but he did it different from how my mother did it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for instance, if you're taught to cry like a woman, it's going to look different from how a man is taught to cry. Mm-hmm. So it's not so much that a man doesn't cry, but he doesn't cry like a woman. Mm-hmm. You know, so it looks different. It's not that a man doesn't shout or a man doesn't get upset, but he does it different from a woman. You know, a man may have more composure. A man may have more calmness, you know, when they get upset, where a woman may be a little more kind of like, you know, like, mm-hmm. you know, I'm upset, and you know, where a man may be kind of like more quiet, more reserved, like, you know, and then it's like, oh, you don't care. It's like, no, I do care, but men express themselves differently. They're a little more confused, you know. So it's kind of like, well, you see how this is how a man acts, you know. So it's not that men don't have the same emotions, but they carry the emotions a little more differently.
Absolutely.
You know? So like you said, but when you see a woman raising a boy to be a man, now boys may start acting out in a different kind of way, and it may be an unhealthy way, because now you have a man expressing themselves in a way a woman would, and it may look dangerous, because women is if women, you know, we're emotional creatures.
Yes.
So let's say we get emotional and we're just like, and let's say we want to start doing it. But if you have a man that's acting like that, it can be dangerous.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing, and that's why it's important for young men to have male role models, and that male role model, like you said, should definitely be in the home. Be in the home, or definitely make themselves available on a regular basis.
Yeah.
On a regular basis, enough. When I say on a regular basis, I mean enough to make a impact.
Absolutely.
Enough to make an impact.
Because we feel there are so many influencers, and everybody's an influencer, right? Everybody's an influencer. We're going to get influenced somewhere. Your children are, if there's no figure in the house, your children are going to gravitate to a male influence somewhere.
Absolutely.
What is that going to look like? Although we can't dictate all the influences that I get throughout life, but if I can kind of in this way right here, this positive male influence, you can that or this way or introduce people to you. Like I remember when I was having my kids, and me and my ex-wife was kind of going through some things. I thought about my friends, thought about my female friends, of who I can kind of get my kids in contact with. You know what I mean? For that piece that we're missing at the, who could I kind of link them up with, talk to, and stuff like that. I had this whole plan. I had this whole plan. I had 5 people, 5 strong women. Now, so they can call that one for that one, and they can call that one for this and that one. And God is just like, it don't work like that. You know what I mean? It sounds good, and it just didn't work that way all the way, because I exchanged numbers with them, and I'm like, listen, I need you to be in contact with the girls. They get older and they need this and that. And somewhere the ball dropped down or whatever. It sounded good, it sounded great. I was like, oh, I got this. We're fine. We'll be okay. But they're going to get influenced somewhere. So we have to kind of help them with that, kind of direct them in that way to get it. Because a woman cannot teach a man how to be a man. A man cannot teach a young lady how to be a woman. Now I can tell my daughter all day long about women and this from my point of view, from what I know, but I can't tell them based off a feeling, and or a experience, because I haven't had those. So all I'm telling you is either or something I saw or something I thought. I basically tell you what I've experienced. You know what I mean? So I can tell my daughters it's not good to wear those type of clothing because of X, Y, Z, and this is what men you at. But I can't speak to that from a woman. And so I never would. I don't want that role. I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. But it's hard when that other parent is not, other individuals in the home, and more times it's the father that is absent, right? But I think we're kind of changing that now. I think things are starting to look a little bit different than they did before. Before, it was always the father. Like it was always the dad who was not home. Dad left, dad was out of business, the absent father, right?
Right.
It's looking a little different now. Like dads are really stepping up and doing what they need to do, and like it's a beautiful thing. Yeah. But I think it needs to be to where it's a unit, where it's a strong unit coming together. Not just, we got these strong dads out here, we got these strong women over here. No, why they can't come together? Why these strong units can't come together and have the household, regardless of the way society tries to break them apart. I remember I watched you got me going on now. I remember I watched Claudine when I was a little kid, and she was dating this dude who had a construction guy, but she was on welfare. It was coming over to the house, and they had hide all the stuff. She had that she had a boyfriend, and there was still around and everything. Wow. So in order to get help, in order for us to help you, the male has to be gone out of the picture altogether.
But that's another story.
Yes.
Another story for another day.
Yeah.
Yes. But again, like you said, I like that you mentioned that that a lot of people they're when you say strong woman or strong man, if that comes from a place of a place of hurt, you know, or a place of deficiency rather, you know, we shouldn't use our strength when it comes from a place of deficiency.
Yeah, listen, I get that a lot of women are, and I didn't know this before. I'm finding it out now. A lot of women are insulted when you call them strong, right? Because it's not a choice. Like I have a choice to be strong. I had to be strong because I had to be strong because I had to survive. I had to survive, and based on the situation that I was in, I had to be strong. So it's not like if you tell somebody they look nice or they got on a nice outfit, that's because that's what you did to make that outfit look nice. You put that together, you did that. But if I tell you strong, no, your strength came from a different place. You didn't put that strength together when you got up this morning. You know what I mean? No, that came out of me having to fight through some stuff, having to survive through some stuff, having to live. So it's kind of insulting. It's kind of, yeah, like to call, you know, because you hear it all the time. Oh, it's a strong black woman and strong. No, she's strong because she had to be, not because she like woke up and said, "I'm going to be a strong black woman."
Right, and then I actually had looked that up at one point, and there's no such thing as like a strong white woman or a strong Puerto Rican woman or strong.
Absolutely.
You know, a strong white woman is considered a woman that is a woman void of a woman that is black, that is void of emotion, or void of a person that doesn't need to be cared for. You know, and that I think is not a compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. As much as we think it is, and we say it like, "Oh, she's a strong black woman," and stuff, you gotta think about where that came. Where did that term come from?
It's not an endearing term.
I think a woman would rather hear that she's a beautiful black woman. You know what I mean? Like look, I'll take that over the strong. Don't you can keep the strong. Like keep that.
I need love.
Honestly, there may be days that she wakes up and she doesn't want to be strong.
Right.
My mom was strong because she had to be.
Right.
There were some days that she woke up, she didn't want to be that. She didn't want to be anything for everybody. She just wanted to be Noreen. That's it. Leave me alone. I want to be strong today. I want to sit in the corner and cry if I feel like it. Or I don't want to have to show up for everybody. And so I think sometimes when we put that's a heavy demand to put on black women.
And the word wasn't really strong. It was kind of struggling.
Yeah.
You know, we're struggling black.
We try to cute it up. We try to
strong. And the word was not strong. The word is struggling. But when I see you and you're a struggling black woman that doesn't like to show your pain. And that's really what it is. You're struggling and you don't want to show your pain, and you're just doing what you got to do, you know. And we just changed that term and said, okay, we're not going to use that term. We're just going to call it strong.
Yeah,
you know, right. We're going to call it strong because it sounds better than saying what it is.
Yeah,
it's better than saying what it is, and it'll make the man feel like what he did is not so bad. and not the man, and not black men in particular, but it'll make society or what's happening to a black woman not look so bad. You know, let's feel good by changing it to the word strong, but it really means you're struggling and you're not complaining and you're just doing what you got to do. And we're not going to give you any more help that because, you know, you're just going to make it work. You just got to make it work, you know, and if you don't complain and you stay in the corner and be a good little struggling girl, then we're going to call you strong.
We're going to call you strong to survive because you had to survive. Like you didn't have a choice. You didn't have a choice. Like you had to. What was your options?
But some of us don't. Some of us don't. You know, some of us, like you said, we're crying, we're hurting, and we're not surviving.
Yeah.
And that's why you have the breakdown of family. And you know, because that's why you have women, and you say you're surviving because you're alive, but there's women that are just existing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're not raising up children properly. They're not raising up the boys properly. They're not raising up the girls properly. Because if you are working, who's watching these children? You know, if you're not working, what example are you setting for these children? So you're really not being that woman that you need to be. You're not in your role. And I'm not to insult anyone, you know, because now it's like an insult, but you're not being in your role as a woman. So it's nothing strong about that.
So let me tell you, I went to I was talking to the kids about, you know, me not working, me being out of work and injuries and stuff like that. So being on disability. So I told them, I said, you know, I do miss going, you know, being in the workforce. Excuse me. I do miss being in the workforce, going to work and just interacting. It's a different atmosphere and stuff like that. Excuse me. And I told them I missed that, but I don't want to trade that. I wouldn't want to trade that because I get to with my kids. I get to be present for my kids. I get to be a part of their life while they're growing up. I get to be here. They say, "Hey, Dad, I got this going on." Some of my kids are homeschooled and some of them are not. But yeah, so we're doing homeschool because we have a choice. You know what I mean? Like when I wish I would have told my mom I wanted to be homeschooled. What? Homeschool? You got to get to school. You know what I mean? But we have a choice now. Because some of them were like, "Listen, school is stressing me out. Like, school is really getting to me. School is doing this and school is that." And so I sat back and I really had to process that from a different mindset of go to school. You got to 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 process that of what am I doing to my children?
That is wait, I gotta do a hand clap for that homeschool because I don't want the homeschool. I want it. I want the homeschool. You know what? I personally feel it's the natural way that people. I personally think kids. I think kids naturally should just be homeschooled because before the institution of school existed, kids were homeschooled. I think that that's how it should have been anyway, just in nature. Anyway,
it was a scary decision. Going into that, it was very scary because I was like, "Oh, do I know enough? Are they going to learn enough? And this and that. What does that look like?" And so every step of the way, and I was like, "You know what? Just do it." And I did it. I started with one, and it worked. And I was like, "Okay, wait."
When COVID hit, didn't parents figure it out? They learned
out. And so the lady told me, like when I called her, she said, "Mr. Hill, ever since COVID hit, people have been doing homeschooling and they haven't stopped." She said, because they realized that, wait, do this. Like I can do this is okay.
My own kids.
Yes. What about that? I can tailor their curriculum towards what they're going to be when they grow up, what they're going to be as an adult. What? They don't have to have a blanket thing that everybody is getting across the board. Oh, so if they're going into mechanics, if they work on cars, I can tailor the curriculum for that.
And you'll actually be in tune with your own children. Look at this.
Oh, imagine not having to worry about, and I feel so, my heart breaks for the parents that have to hear that your child's school is on lockdown. My oldest son, his school was on lockdown for 6 hours.
Listen,
6 hours.
I worked in the school system and I love it. I'm not anti-school. Like I said, I'm anti-anything. However, I think that it is a basic human right that children get to be homeschooled. I think that is I think that has always been the natural way.
Yeah.
And the institution what was built. And I think that should have continued to be the natural way until, like you said, everybody was taken out of their natural place. Yeah. But I'm totally in support of children. I didn't get to homeschool my children, but I'm just highly in support of it.
I wish I would have got a hold of it earlier, but I'm glad we're doing it now. But I think about that and being in the workforce, I'm like, I wouldn't be able to do that. I be able to, you know, this one wants to do this with their life and this one wants to do that. So we spend time throughout the day talking about that. Okay, what does that look like? How can we execute a plan? How could what are we going to put in place now? Because you don't have to wait until I graduate school to do those things. No, you can start now. Start now while you're in your creative mode before life starts to burn you out and drag you down, and then you become an adult. And I gotta work, and I got this, I got that. Why not start now? It's creative, and you like, I want to do this. I want to start my own clothing line. Okay, let's start that. Nobody said you can't. Let's start that. What does that look like? Let me help you now before you get out on your own, and do you have to worry about bills and mortgages and stuff like that and responsibilities, then marriage and kids and all of that. And now your dreams are on the back burner and you forgot all about what it was. Let's start that now. What does that look like now? You know what I mean? If you ask a lot of adults, now some of them have been blessed to be able to say, nope, I had a dream and I still got my dream with the family stuff, because it is possible. I'm not saying it's not, but it's harder. It's much harder than you have somebody at a younger age say, well, what would you like to do? Oh, you want to be a talk show host? Okay, let's start now. Like, let's start now. And you're like, what? Start now? I'm a teenager. Yeah, let's start now.
Right. And even start trying to figure it out at an earlier age. Yeah. You know, figuring it out, you know, or figuring out what you like and don't like. Yeah. You know, at an earlier age, you know, doing it in a safe place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Home. You know, not doing it out there where if you fail, it's a problem. You know, if I lose my apartment. If I fail, I lose my marriage. If I fail, I lose everything. You know, in a safe place, doing that trial and error at home where it's safe. You know,
you just said something major. Like, because of the threat of failing, we accept a lot of things that we wouldn't normally accept. Right. We deal with and put up with a lot of things we wouldn't normally do because we're like, no, I can't fail. I can't go back home to my mama's house if this marriage fails. I can't go back if I don't keep this house. I gotta stay at this job where they're abusive to me, where they're talking to me, I'm being sexually harassed or whatever. I gotta stay at the job because I gotta pay my rent. So because I can't go back home because then I'm a failure and all of that. What does that look like? Like, no, we can't. No, we can't have it so bogged down by the thought of failure. No, if you fail, do it again. It's okay.
Right. I can, because I'm at home. I'm safe. Yeah. You know, I'm at home. I'm trying these things out, and if they don't work out, I'll just try something else. And until I'm ready, and I'm like they say, to leave the nest, until I'm comfortable, now I'll go out there and I'll venture out. You know, until I find a mate that's suitable for me. Then I'll leave the nest until I find a job or a career or you know, hopefully you want to be entrepreneurs. Until I find a business that I want to start, then I'll venture out. You know, but we're safe at home. You know, but I've done my education and I find what I love to do, and then I'll venture out. But doing that in a safe place and doing that at home is a wonderful thing. You know, we've gotten off of Father's Day.
We have, and look, I just looked down on the paper. I said, "Oh, who's your daddy?" Right? Yeah, but
who's your daddy?
It's such a heavy role that all of this ties into that. Like
you can do that with a solid home. Like having that solid home, you know, allows children to have that secure place. You know, so it does make a difference. It makes a difference.
I found out when with my kids, to whoever, I like them to know that this is a safe place.
Yeah,
this is a safe place where you can feel what you need to feel emotionally. You can vent without judgment. This is a place you can come and let it out, because you got to have a place to let it out.
Yes,
it's not always in our home. You know what I mean? It's not always in our home, and I pray that I'm creating that for my kids, because sometimes we can create it for other people's kids, but you don't create it for your own. You know what I mean? That looks a little different when it's yours. So I pray that I create that for my kids, where they're able to just come and say, listen, this is what I got going on. Right. I'm like, I can't promise y'all I'm never going to be mad. I can't promise you that. But I can promise you I'm going to listen and we're going to work through it, whatever it is. You know, they got to have a safe place. And so I think part of being a good father, I hear crazy things that people are like, oh, you're a good father, you're a great father. And I wish you were my father, grown people. I wish you was my father and this and that. And my mother said that all the time. It drove me crazy. Oh, you should be my dad. And I'm like, what? She like, yeah, you should be my father. I wish you was my father. But I look at it like, what's the alternative? I didn't know I had an option. And so that's how I father. Like, I don't have an option of I shouldn't be nasty to my kids. No, I should love them. Like the love has got to outweigh the discipline. And you can't effectively discipline if there's no love present, because then it's abuse.
Right. Because
discipline, no love, that's abuse. That's just abuse. Yeah.
And it's pointless.
Yeah.
It's pointless. Right.
So
it's not learning, you're not really disciplining, because discipline is a correction.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. So I just pray that I'm that for them, and I try to be what I didn't have, what I thought I missed. I miss the hugs. I miss the I love yous. I miss the I'm proud of you. I miss you can do it. I miss the what's going on. How can I help you? And I miss those. You know what I mean? Being in the moment of, listen, I'm sensing something is going on. What's up? Talk to me. You know what I mean? Or you seem like you drifted away from the family a little bit. I see you went to your room. I'm kind of been there for a little while. What's up? Let's go for a ride by ourselves. What's on your mind? And really care about it. Not just ask them, hey, what's going on? How are you? And then don't listen.
That's the difference. That's what I appreciated most about my dad, that he was very in tune. And though he wasn't really in the house, when he was there, he was there.
Okay.
And that's what I appreciated most about my dad. He's not with us anymore, but what I appreciated was that when he was there, he was there. You know, he actually listened, and he actually cared, and I felt it.
Okay.
You know, because
yeah,
you do know, even as a kid, you know when somebody is actually listening, when somebody actually cares about you, when somebody is spending time with you, not time next to you. Because somebody could be spending time next to you, but they're not actually with you.
But they're not with you. They're just there. I've been in situations where people were in the house, they were in the room, but they wasn't with you. Yeah.
Very lonely. Very Absolutely. Lonely. Yeah. And it's a really, really it's a draining feeling, and it's really not a good feeling. And fathers play a prominent role, because the thing is, when somebody is with you, when they're not there, they're still with you.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing, because when they don't show up, in your mind, they've shown up, because you're like, I know that they're proud of me, because I just hear their words. And even if they're not there, you're smiling and you feel them there, We
have to make sure that, so with my girls, right? I tell them they're beautiful. I tell them I love them and everything, because when a guy comes along, right? If you say those things, I don't want those things to be foreign to her. Right. I don't want her to totally melt away and drift off into this dude because he said these things that she never heard before. Right. So when he said them, it's a reminder that she is beautiful. You know what I mean? But I've heard this before. My dad told me this. You know what I mean? And I heard yeah, like this is not brand new, but a lot of young ladies, I remember growing up, a lot of young ladies heard it, and it was the first time any male told them that they were beautiful and told them that they mattered, and you know what I mean, and you're smart, you're intelligent, you're this and that. The first time they heard that. So what did they do? They gravitated towards that, whatever that looked like. That could have looked like a black eye. That could have looked like a beat down. That could have looked like anything, but they gravitated towards that because this was something new I'd never heard before. Somebody thinks I'm pretty. Somebody thinks I'm beautiful, and it's a man. Right. You know, it's
fall in love with your dad first.
Absolutely.
Like you really fall in love with your dad first, and it's like you compare every relationship to the one you have with your dad. It's like, no, I love my dad, and when you're with the male, you're just like, my dad loves me more than that. Like you don't love me like my dad loves me, and it's like you got to get out of here, And you just can't even settle with a relationship. Like I'm always single, but
oh, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club.
You can't settle with a relationship because you're always comparing, like, you're not as tender as my dad, or you're not as loving as my dad, or you're not, and it's just like, it's hard to find a relationship when you're actually comparing it with your dad. So sometimes it's kind of like a catch-22 in a way.
But you know,
you have a loving dad, you know, because it's kind of like you're always kind of, dads can kind of set a standard, you know. Yeah.
I can't stop.
Yeah.
I refuse to stop. Like they just gonna have to listen. You're gonna have to show up. Like you really gonna because it is what it is. I believe they should be spoiled. I believe they are young princesses, and you know, one of them is like, please don't ever call me princess. Like I'm and so I'm like, but these are my girls.
You thought I was a princess. I'm like, I was looking for my birth certificate because I thought I was adopted because my dad called me a princess, and I did. I thought I was like, I'm not supposed to be in this house because my dad would go. He wasn't in the house. He would go away, and I'm like, I think I'm just supposed to be with him. I'm not supposed to be here with my mom and my brother because I'm a princess, and he has to come back and get me. So I was looking for my birth certificate. Like, something's wrong with that.
Oh, that's funny.
So it can play with, you know. Dads are wonderful. Mm-hmm. Dads are wonderful. Like
I love the idea of, I love this because you get able to celebrate dads, and it's not all because we hear enough of, you know, dads are this and dads are that, and they ain't this and they ain't that or whatever. And my belief is, if you keep telling him what he's not, he'll continue to be what he's not. But if you start to speak to that man and start saying, even if y'all are not together, but y'all have children together, if you start speaking to that man, say, listen, I know we didn't work, but I need you to be here. I need you to be here, whatever that look like. If it look like a friendship between us, then that's what it need to look like. But I support you. I gotta support you and help you any way I can. Why? Because we're raising this kid together. Yeah. We're raising this kid together. It's not a competition. I believe that. I strongly believe. Now, me and my ex-wife, we've had our differences, and every now and then, you know, and I'm sure she feels the same way. She's voiced that herself. But I don't believe that being a good dad, I have to diminish her.
No.
I don't believe that I have to put her down or put my foot on her in order for me to shine as a good dad. No, just shine as a good dad. Like, just shine. My mom never, ever, ever talked bad about my father growing up. Anything that I found out about him that wasn't to my liking, I found out on my own when I got older.
Absolutely.
She did not volunteer that information. She did not say this, he that. She spoke good things. It was very commendable because I'm like, this dude ain't helping you at all. And
my kids will do stuff like that, and I'm like, don't you say that? That's your fault.
Yeah, she was like, no, because my husband was this and my husband. I'm like, but he left you. And she like, that ain't your business and this and that. And I'm like,
it's none of your business.
And so when we got older, I did ask her. I said, you never badmouthed him or anything. Why wasn't it? She said, when I married him, I loved him. She said, and you had to find out who he was based on your own relationship, not based off of what I thought. And a lot of kids are basing that other parent relationship and how they view them on what it is that present parent is speaking over them and speaking to them.
And what it is that what people don't understand, and people have to make sure that they relay this emotion to their kids, that some men are bad husbands or bad mates, but they're great fathers.
Yes, absolutely.
So how they feel about you is a totally different experience of how they're going to feel about their child.
Absolutely.
You know, how I feel about a man is not going to be how I feel about my kid.
Absolutely.
You know, these are different relationships. So you can't put how your experience with this person is going to be the same experience that the child is going to have. These are totally different experiences. So to badmouth a father because you had a bad experience, that's your business. Y'all didn't get along.
And a lot of females and guys do it. Guys do it too, right? Because if you got the kids,
they absolutely do.
These unattainable expectations on absent parents. Like you put stuff on them that you know they can't meet, that you know they can't do, or they're not even capable of doing. And why are we even doing it? You know what I mean? Like I guess I'm thinking about the parent who's supposed to pick up the kid at 5 o'clock and they get there at 5:15. We don't give no kind of grace. It's no kind of grace. It's no at 5:01, they don't love you, they love somebody else, they tend to, you know what I mean? Like it's like where's the okay, we understand, okay, they run a little late, it's okay, it's all right. Because ultimately the kid is being affected, right? By your relationship. My daughter asked me the other day, she's like, so Dad, what happened to your relationship? What happened? Like something changed. Like I know you weren't together, but something changed in the conversation. You guys are not conversating like you used to. And I know exactly what changed. Like I can pinpoint exactly what it was me. It was me that changed because I felt that there was no line drawn between current wife and ex-wife, right? Because the lines were meshed. Because at one point you was the current and now you're the ex. So my feeling was if a new lady comes along, she may not be able to understand those that whole thing that's going on there. So I'm like, we have to have a line drawn to where now we're co-parents. We can be friends and we can co-parent. But with the relationship piece, those lines were a little bit blurred in certain areas. You know what I mean? And so I had to do that myself. And so she's like, what happened? Y'all didn't even talk about it. I'm like, what you talking about, y'all? And she's like, well, y'all used to talk about y'all. And I'm like, that's the problem. There is no us, so there's no need to talk. Yeah, but just got to be the best for the kids. I know we got way off, like we way off.
Father's Day, yeah.
See, but that's how fathers get done. That's how fathers get done. They all get the short end of the stick. Like,
It's true. This week is acting up. It's acting up.
You're about to have a Sarah Jakes moment.
I am not going to have a Sarah Jakes moment. It's staying on. I don't keep. Honey. If you ask my family, though, they'll be like, "She's gonna take that wig." But I'm not. I'm not taking. I'm not. Let me get to
listen, good way to go viral. If you ever want to go viral, that's it. Let it slip.
I'm not. I will go viral, but not like that. Not like that.
That's right.
Like that.
Oh.
Okay. So here's some questions. Okay. Can you love the children outside of their mother? Some dads have a problem doing that, loving the children. Like they're like, okay, if I'm not with the mother, I don't know how to connect to the children.
So I do get that, and that's really unfortunate. I see that a lot, and it's really unfortunate. The thing about me, and I can only speak for me. I remember when she went to the hospital to have the kid, and I was there. I drove there, arrived with them, and the nurse said, I have never seen a father stay the whole entire time. She's like, they come, they leave, they whatever. She said, you've been here since you brought in here. I said, ma'am, with all due respect, my babies you got back there. That's my kid. She was like, I love it. She was like, I love it. I said, yeah. I said, I know she's your mama. I get it. But them my kids back there. I can't leave them here with you. And she said, I never had a father stay the whole time. She said, you stayed the entire time. Like you never, man, I'm okay. I went in this bathroom, washed up, changed clothes. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm all right. We're going to be all right. But I'm not. I said, I leave the hospital when you guys pack my baby up and say the baby's up. And I've done that with all of them. I was in the hospital the whole time. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yes.
So you have to be able to love the kids outside of the relationship that you have with that other person. You have to, because that's not, like you just said, that's not the same situation. That's not the same relationship. And you can't group it all in together. You can't group it all in together. It's a totally separate relationship. So that's why when it's coming closer to Father's Day, I like to speak to the single moms or fathers. You know, it goes both ways. Who are raising their kid and really bashing the other parent and really not giving them an opportunity to show up and to be that and to be in that kid's life like that. Now would be a good time. Give them that opportunity to be better than they was. You know what I mean? Because we have to honestly believe.
I'm gonna pause on that one. Hold on. Let's clap for that. That's right. This is your time. This Father's Day, 2023.
Yes.
If you are bashing your other parent,
yeah,
your co-parent,
yeah.
right? Your baby mama, your baby daddy.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is the year to praise them. You know, this is the year. Praise them. Because you know what? If you lay down and had a baby with them, there was going on. Y'all I like them. You like them enough. You like know. And don't them because if you didn't, if you laid down and you didn't like them, that was some issue that you had a personal issue going on. If you lay down with people you don't like, then I don't know. So
so I think now would be a good time to not say anything, but say, you know what? I'm gonna change. I'm going to change the way that I interact with you, because you may actually be helping them to change who they are. And so change. Listen, I'm going to change the way that I interact with you, because it's not about our relationship anymore. Our relationship is done. It's not about that. It's about this child. And how do they see us interact? What does that look like? But it can't look like, oh, here come your baby daddy. Here come your no good for nothing daddy. Or going to the extreme to tell that child that they're gonna be just like their nothing daddy. They did be daddy. They did something. No, we can't do that.
That really makes me sad. That too is another conversation for another day. That toxic. That's just a whole nother show, because that's just toxic parenting.
Yeah, it is.
Toxic parenting.
It is. I remember I told my daughter, and it was a good thing. It was a good thing that she was doing. I was like, look at you. I was like, just like your mama, right? It's something that she did. And she was like, she was offended. And she was like, Dad, don't say that. And she's like, not that I have anything against my, but I'm me. I'm me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm an individual. Don't lump me into that. You know what I mean? It's bad enough that we look alike, and you know what I mean? She's like, listen, don't lump me into that. I'm an individual. So I had to respect that. I really did. And it wasn't even a bad situation, because you know, when it's a bad situation, we quick to, no, you ain't acting like me, you acting like that other one. But
you get that from their side.
That ain't my side. My side don't act like that.
I ain't gonna say I never said that now. I'm like, oh no, you get that from my side.
I've said it. I probably still do. It depends on the situation. No, listen, you acting like them over there. I need to bring it on back, because you acting like them.
I'm guilty of that, and I gotta work on that.
Oh yeah, we all got something to work on.
I'm telling you. But women, liberate yourself this Father's Day. Don't buy into don't let nobody say Happy Father's Day to you when you're a woman. You are a woman. Embrace your role. Embrace your role as a woman. Embrace your role as a mother. You're a mother. You gave birth to a child. That's no easy task.
Absolutely.
Task. So don't allow someone to just walk up to you and say Happy Father's Day. No, you carried a child in your body and you birthed a child. So for somebody just to walk up to you and say Happy Father's Day, no. And men, you gave birth. You contributed. How do we say this? You contributed to the birth of a child. You share the title of father.
Yeah.
The title of father we also share with the Most High.
Absolutely.
We refer to the Most High as my Father. We refer to the Most High as He. You share that title
to be called the same thing.
Yourself as such.
Yes, that's right.
Respect yourself as such. Stand in that role. Do your due diligence, because it's not about money. Don't feel that you cannot stand in that role, because if you contributed to that child's life, you have a right to stand in that role.
Absolutely.
And never feel unworthy, or never allow someone to make you feel unworthy.
That kid really honestly is not wrapped up in the money. That's something that they heard. They're not wrapped up in the money of my father didn't give me this, he didn't give me that. I say it because there's just two distinct times that I heard money throughout my 47 years. So I can pinpoint to the dollar amount, right? Angry and I'm being petty. I say it, right? But that kid is more concerned with, are you spending time with me? Do you love me? Do you love me? What are you showing me? Are you showing me that you love me? Don't just tell me. I need you to show me that you love me. Fight for me in life. Are you fighting for me? Are you know what I mean? Like show up and really be there and love me. Don't just say it, because we say it all day long. We be lying. Don't say it, but like show me that you love me. That goes so much further than any dollar amount. I promise. I promise. I promise. You can have nothing. You can have absolutely nothing, and spend some time with your kids. They'll love every minute of it. They will.
It's the truth. It's the truth. And even I know that they say that some people will turn their kids against a parent. Yeah. And I believe, and I'm speaking loosely, but I believe that if you spend time with that child will always come back to you.
People gravitate to love. People gravitate to love. Now, if I felt abuse from you, as far as you as I possibly, I gravitate to love. If you showed me love while I was in your presence, can't nobody rip that from me. Can't nobody tell me nothing else, because I know what I felt. People know what I feel. And so if I felt that love, I gravitate that all. But if I felt anything else, if I felt abuse, if I felt uncomfortable, if I felt anything, I'm not gravitating towards that. I don't care if we spend 20 years apart. When that time comes for me to be able to, just like a child, you can keep a child away from that other parent, able to kind of go, and they can kind of do what they want to do at that point. But if I didn't feel love for you, I'm gravitating over there. I'm okay over here because you showed me nothing, and this was a personal relationship, my personal. That's why I said my mom, she didn't tell me bad things about my dad. Whatever I found out bad about him, I found out my own. I got old enough to interact with him on my own without her being present. And I saw things I didn't like, or things I didn't agree with, or I felt a certain way that was like, dude, why you make me feel that way? You know what I mean? Like, you make me feel that way. What is wrong with me? For years, I've thought, what was wrong with me? What did I do? You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, two people are married, and then they're married, they can't even get along. You internalize that to you. You're like, well, it must be me. Yeah, I was fine before I got here. When that's the furthest thing from the truth, but as a kid, that's what you process.
Interesting. Not realizing that these problems were present before you got here.
They had them. Yeah, they was
you were the reason that they probably, because people, they try to have kids to fix stuff.
Yeah.
You don't realize that until you get older.
You was the attempt at fixing something, and then it broke. So,
it was broke, and then they try to have a kid to fix. Let's see if we can have a kid to try to fix this, and it's just like, no, it's still broke.
It's broke. Yeah, broke all the way broke.
Then it's like, you know what? We need to not mess this kid up, so let's just go our separate ways.
broke all the way. That's right. This is all the way broke.
Let's not ruin another person's life.
Yeah, let's not. This is all the way broke. Let's give it up. Let's stop it. So yeah.
It ain't working. Let's not ruin a whole person's life. Like this is a whole person, because it's a whole person. So let's not ruin their life, because if we love this person, we'll just kind of let's let it go.
Absolutely. Let it go.
We try.
The sooner we can come to that understanding of, listen, this is not working. Let's go our separate ways while we're still friends. While there's some love still there, before I hate you. You know what I mean? Let's do that before I hate you, because I would hate for this to turn into hate. Because
when it starts to turn, you know what? You know what? That's a good point. You know, I think before a relationship starts turning into, especially when there's children involved, but I think just in general, you know, whether dating or court, whatever the case is, before a relationship starts turning into hate, dissolve it. You realize it's going downhill.
Because it saves you from all of that you got to do this. It saves the children from all of that. When you can at least let's be, you know, we ain't got to be best friends.
No.
But I can be in the same room and have a conversation with you and not hate you and not hear that out of my mouth or my heart. I can talk to you and that be civil. You know what I mean? So, and I'm not saying I'm perfect there, because I got some areas I need to work on. Sometimes we be in the same room and I'm like, oh. So, you know what I mean? But it comes across and the kids looking at me like, you know, I remember riding. We were in the car one time when we first moved down to Lynchburg. We were in a car and she was outside the car and she said something and I responded and gave her the finger. And before you know, I looked and the kids was looking like, I was like, I was waving. You know what I mean? And they're like, that was.
He was waving with that one finger.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, you got to do better. That ain't cool. You got to do better. Yes. Because what we really need to realize, and really, if I'm before we, because I can keep going and going, but at the end of the day, that father is still that kid's father, right? And so you can down them, throw dirt on them, sling mud on their name or whatever. If they love their daddy, they love their daddy. If they love their mama, they love their mama. Ain't nothing you can do. You know what I mean?
And that person, whoever they are, that like my dad is a part of me. Mm-hmm. So if you're downing my dad, you're downing me.
Yes, you are.
You know, so you're saying that my makeup is flawed. You know, you don't like a part of me.
Absolutely.
So when you down a child's parent, you're actually talking about them. That's how they feel.
And it's worse when they look like that parent. It's even worse when they resemble that parent.
Well, now you're going to start telling my story. So this is an interview for you, and I don't want to take over. So
even worse. I'm telling you. Listen, my son had to go through it for a while because he looks exactly like and acts like me. You know what I mean? And I keep telling him, you know, he got a long way to go. Hey, son, how you doing? But but for a while, he had to hear things like, you know, you're acting just like your dad. You get on my nerves because you're just like your dad. And so he had to hear that, and I had to have a conversation. Say, listen, he's not me. He's not me, and he'll never be me. He shouldn't pay the anger he have towards me. He shouldn't have to pay for that. He should feel none of that. You know what I mean? And I think that's a lot of times, a lot of things that some kids are dealing with now. You know what I mean? Some parents hate that other parent so much. The kids are feeling that.
Yeah.
And they're feeling this
as an adult. You feel it as an adult because Absolutely. Some parents don't stop. They don't stop when you're. I'm not going to get into it because, like I said, if this is about me, I'll take up the next. You know, but I'm not going to steal your shine. You know. You know, because Tam got her story too. You know, but. You know, I am reading. I read this book and it is phenomenal. But so happened just to be right here. Adult children of emotionally immature parents. You have some parents that even
write that down. Say that again.
It's amazing. Oh, it's like backwards on the screen. But it's adult children of emotionally immature parents.
Okay.
Lindsay C. Gibson. But I tell you, this book is a life changer, but it helps you to understand, like you said, when you're having an experience, anybody, I mean, but look, I'm not talking about myself, but anybody that may be having an experience with you may look like your parent or act like a parent or whatever, whatever the case is, and then you're living with the other parent, and you may remind them, of the parent, and they may not particularly like that other parent.
Yeah.
And they may constantly remind you, that you remind them of that parent, and it kind of it really goes into many different things. It actually I love it because my light is not on and I can't see too much, but it talks about 4 types of emotionally immature parents, and it goes into the emotional parent, the driven parent, the positive parent, and also the rejection parent. And it talks about how some parents just don't enjoy spending time with their children, and they don't enjoy having children.
Wow.
And it just talks about all the different personality types. But it's a great book, and it just helps you to understand yourself, and how you interact with people, depending on what type of parenting you had. But because some parents don't stop when you become an adult, because remember, parents are always parents, so they don't say, okay, now you've reached this age, so now I'm going to stop saying that you remind me of your parent. You can still be an adult, and they're still going to treat you the way they treated you.
Absolutely.
So that abuse will continue. So you still kind of need that. Still need that therapy and that help and stuff like that. So, just remembering that, you're always the child, they're always the parent, and you can still need that support. That support. When it comes to things, but so I don't want to get too much into that, because then we're going to be spending a lot of time on my story. But
sounds like it sounds like you're nothing for your story. I'm for it.
Yeah, no. My story is going to take all day. That's the whole thing. But I will say that I do want all the fathers to definitely embrace their role, and that their role is super duper important. It is important to show love to your children, and not to feel intimidated, or not to allow anyone to make you feel intimidated on this Father's Day or any other day, when it comes to being a parent and showing your child love. Absolutely. You should never be intimidated and so intimidated that just, I'm not good enough to show my child love. And if you don't know how to show love because you can't give what you don't have, learn how to show your child love. Learn, do research, know.
Or them. Ask them. Like, ask them the question. How do you need me to love you? Yeah. What does that look like to you? What does that? I found out, and I was talking to, like, all of my kids are different. All of them are different, and their love language is different. What they perceive as love is totally different than what I think they need. In, you know what I mean? Because I when YZ, and they like, no, I didn't feel the love. That didn't love. I know you love me because you do this, and I'm like, what? Well, I do that because I'm supposed to do that. I didn't know that you equated love, but they do. So if you have a conversation with them and find out, how do you know I love you? What would tell you that I love you? What means I love you? You know what I mean? Have the conversation with them. And I realized when I got older, I said, my dad left when I never returned. You know what I mean? Returned in that role. Now, we've seen each other throughout the years, a couple of about 4 times, 3 or 4 times. But I thought about it when I was older. I said, maybe he didn't know how to come back. Maybe he didn't know how to come back. Maybe he didn't know how to return his role as father. Maybe he didn't know he didn't know what I knew. He didn't know what my mother had. He didn't know what the people around me told me, or how they may have painted his. He didn't know that, so he didn't know how to come back. He didn't, especially as I got older. I was self-sufficient. I was doing things. I had family stuff. So what role am I taking with that? How do I with that? Because
he doesn't need me.
Yeah, you don't need me to tell you what to do now, because you're doing it on your own. So some people just don't know how to come back, so they just stay gone.
Right.
And we have to make it. We have to make sure we leave some room for there if we want to heal. Some relationships, they don't need to. I think you cut off. Did they cut you off?
No, I'm here. I wanted to turn the light on because I was going with the sunlight, and I'm like, I'm getting really, really like faded away.
Yeah, I got light from some course here, but the sunlight is gone. Yeah.
No, but I think that's very important. I think that's great advice. Like you said, just like you said, some dads don't know how to come back, and like you said, especially if you feel you're coming back to an unwelcoming environment, or if you just like, I mean. That's natural. That's natural. I mean, you're talking about anyway. If you've been gone for somewhere for so long, I mean, what do you just walk in the door? Hey,
yeah,
like I'm back. Yeah, who are you? Like, where have you been? You have how many questions? Do you just act like nothing happened? Do you just walk in? Do you how does that look? Or do I wait for the kid to come to me? I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I remember when I went and lived with my dad when I was a teenager, 16. I went and lived with him for a couple of months, and I made it a point in my mind that I would never ask him what happened, why he left, why he wasn't there, why he wasn't in my life. I would never ask him that. And the reason why I opted to never ask him that, I said, what answer would he be able to give me that's going to be okay? So we have to watch what questions we ask, because what is the answer that we're looking for? And are we going to be okay with the answer? Is it going to be a situation worse? Is it going to be helpful? What could he really have told me that would have justified me saying, oh, okay, oh, that's why he left. Oh, all right, I get it. No, nothing. There was nothing that he would have been able to say that would have been a valid excuse for, I left my son and never checked on you. Nothing. So why ask the question? So I just said, I'm not going to ask him the question. So I never asked him the question. We talked to each other, and I've never worked up for him, because I didn't want to embarrass him. I didn't want to make him feel, look at me looking at his feelings. I didn't want to make him uncomfortable. I didn't want to embarrass him. But no question to have to answer. So I just asked him, because it really probably wouldn't have made a difference anyway.
Right. Like you said, I know that's kind of like one of those things, like at some point, I think we need to talk about that.
Probably, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of, it's a very tricky situation, because there's a saying, like they say, you never want to be introduced to your parent, and I think that's also like we mentioned, we didn't mention it yet, but in adoption situations, have a child being introduced to their parents, and it's like, what do you say? Because like you said, I don't want to hear anything about money. I don't want to hear anything about you weren't, because whatever your situation was this your situation all these years, or whatever. There's nothing that you really can sit and tell me that's going to make me feel okay.
And with my with my father, he had more kids after me.
Mm-hmm.
So then you get into the thing of, so were they better? Were they better than me that you were able to be there? So I remember talking to him, like, oh, your sister is just spoiled. She got everything she wanted for Christmas. And I was like, I don't remember getting anything. Nothing. All of these Christmases, I don't remember getting anything. So I had to, then I'm talking to myself, and I'm like, you know what? He has a different father than you have. Same man, different father, because you introduced to them at different times. So it's a totally. I had to walk one of my cousins through
that for me.
Yeah, I had to walk one of my cousins through that because he could process that. How dare this one get XYZ or whatever, and I had to get him. And we had a whole conversation. I said, "Listen, they have a different father than you have." Yeah, same man. He's like, "What are you talking about?" Same man, different circumstances, different time. He was a different person. He was going through different things at that time when he was or younger than he is now. He's more stable. He's in a better position. His mind is on right, and what he's able to be a better father to them than he was to you. And we got to sit with that. It's unfortunate. It hurts. You know what I mean? You're like, well, what? I didn't ask for that. They just have a different father than you had.
Right.
Same man, same name, same DNA.
Some people can move on and they don't want to look back because that's a hurtful time in their life. Yeah. You know, some people can, some people can't, and then some people are able to move forward.
Yeah.
You know, and they, not that they look at their past as a mistake, but they may look at it like, look, or it could be an agreement with the mother. Yeah. You know, listen, I'm doing this. You know, I want you to kind of go on about your business. Don't, you know, go on and do what you got to do.
In some situations,
they may resent their mother, like, how dare you not allow me? You know, and the mother may say, look, I just wanted him to go on about his business. Leave us alone. I had you. I'm your mother. I got you. I did. You know, because some mothers, like you said, that strong woman syndrome, that's not really considered a strong woman, but it's kind of like, I'm going to take care of you. You got me. You know, where it's kind of like, no, I needed somebody. I needed my dad. You know. Yeah. So it's a complicated situation. Yeah. You know, a complicated situation.
It's easier, and I know because I treated things that way myself. It's easier. I'm going to do this by myself. Let me do it by myself. And yeah, so you go over there. Let me do it by myself, all the way by myself. If I have to do it by myself, I want to do it by myself. It's hard when you're doing it by yourself, but you're still including and adding in this and that. But it's frustrating.
But you make that decision for you. But you're not making that decision for yourself. You're making that decision for you and a child.
Absolutely. But when you are when you're in a hurt situation, right? That kind of hurt, that comes from trauma and all that. You kind of get the mindset of, I'm gonna do it by myself. You go over, not thinking about the child and what is the child, what do they need? Did you consider them? Did you have a conversation? You know, I think with Father's Day coming up, I think it's a great opportunity for these women, the women who are raising these children, to say, you know what? I know it was crazy these couple of years. Let's try something different. I'm willing to put the gun down. Let's try something, because it's for the benefit of the child. What are you willing to? I ain't bring up the past. I ain't talking about if you're willing to give it 100% and not repeat the cycle. How can we go forward? You know, that can work for some people. It ain't gonna work for everyone.
I mean, not if the child's safety is involved. Like, we're not talking about that situation. Not that situation.
If it was abuse, if it was mental abuse, emotional abuse, or whatever, I don't suggest that with having the proper counseling, the proper there's some other things need to be put in place for that.
Yeah. You know, and you know what? Even if it's being introduced, and like you said, some men, if you don't know how to do it, you know, find the help. You know, if you have to get some counsel. Like, you know what? I want to get back into my child's life, and I really don't know how to do it.
Okay.
You know, talk to some other dads. You know, talk to some dads that you're like, you know what? You seem to be a good example. you know, talk to dads or get some counseling, or, you know, don't just like, you know, oh, you know what, I'm the father, you know, and you just gotta, you know, consider that this is a person. You know, this is a whole person. Like you affected their life. You know, this is a child that may have had to, you know, make up stories, you know, because of your absence. This is a child that may have cried at night because of your absence. This is a child that may, you know what I mean? Like you don't know what they went through because of your absence.
Yeah.
So you could consider that this is a person that had to alter their life because of your absence. So don't just walk in there like, hey, you know, or don't just not, you know what I mean? Like there's so many. This conversation is definitely going to take a part 2.
Yeah.
Because there's a whole avenue that we didn't address, right?
Yeah.
But
I think we talked about getting some different perspectives, and I think because it's such a heavy topic, it's such a broad, heavy topic that one person, 2 people, 3 people ain't gonna have the answer. Everybody's situation looks different. I think we can kind of be able to help other people cope, get through it, mend and heal and all of that, because ultimately that's what everybody wants, you know, for you to be able to heal through whatever it is that fatherhood either meant to you or looked to you from the other, you know. And so it's going to take conversations. It's going to take hard conversations.
Yeah.
And to be able to move on. Now, I don't promote it if it's trauma. If it's trauma and it look crazy to you and a mental thing, emotional thing, you got to protect your peace. You got to protect yourself. And I don't promote that, you know. So, yeah.
And that's what the book kind of talks about, because you don't want to bring any person, you know, even if it's a dad, you don't want to bring any person that comes into a child's life and now the child is burdened, you know, with an adult, with caring for an adult that needs, you know, their emotional, you know, they're not having to care for an adult emotionally, you know, an adult that now is a burden on that child's life, you know, but they want to know, let them make that choice.
Absolutely.
Let them kind of say, you know what, I met my dad and I decided he's not healthy to be in my life.
They have to make the choice. We have to be okay with that. We can't keep forcing bad situations. We can't. I don't care how you feel about it. We can't keep forcing bad situations on people. If it's bad for me emotionally, if it's bad mentally, if it's bad for me. Only I know how bad the situation is for me. Nobody else can dictate that. Nobody else can tell me, oh, well, give it a try, and you can't do it. You know what I mean? I know how bad it is for me. We have to be willing to accept that when a child says, no, this is bad. I don't want that. I don't want no part of it. We have to be willing to say, okay, well, let's do something. Let's look at something else. And we have to be able to accept it, because only a child is going to know the extent they're trying to make sure and be able to make a decision. These kids be knowing. You know what I mean? Like, like they don't know. These kids know. Make me feel good. I don't want to be involved with that no more.
Yeah, an animal knows when you're mistreated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the child knows when they're not being treated. When they're not being treated, they'll tell you a minute. They'll let you know. Look, I don't want to go back over there. Or you know, I mean, I wouldn't advise any unsupervised business, but I mean, they'll let you know. I don't want to be with that person. I don't want to, you know. And sometimes you can pick up on the vibe. You know, some situations are just not stay. So it's not something that you just walk into. It's not something that you just kind of do willy nilly. You know, it's definitely something that has to be well thought out, that needs to be talked about amongst adults, that needs to be kind of, you know, evaluated. But, you know, so we're not just saying, you know, hey, if you're a dad, you need to be, you know, with your family, you know, but definitely take it with a grain of salt, you know, definitely take it with a grain of salt. But like you said, what you're doing is not working, you know, try another way. Try to just make life as healthy as you can, you know, for children.
Absolutely.
As healthy as you can. Don't be the one to bring the toxicity into their, let their home be.
And if not with you. I got to say this because we're gonna keep on going. So if it's not with you, be open to the idea that it may be with somebody else. Support it and do what you can from your end. But it may not necessarily be with you, but you have to support it. And because it's for the best interest of the child.
That's it. That's it. And on that note, I'm going to say amen.
Yes.
Amen. I'm going to say happy Father's Day. And I'm also going to mention an event that is happening in Far Rockaway on Juneteenth.
I saw that. That is so dope. I saw that. Yeah. Go ahead.
On B17th Street. Yes. Okay. Dread Surfer Grill is going to have an event. 1627 Seagirt Boulevard. Dread Surfer Grill. They're having an event. It's on basically the boardwalk on 17th Street. So you could head out to the beach, boardwalk, 17th Street. It's going to be from 2 to 6. Okay, your host, Queen Makeda, she's going to be hosting it. There's going to be giveaways, entertainment, all kinds of stuff, book signings. It's going to be a good time. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good time. So it's going to be a good time. That's both of our homes, right? That's our home, Rockaway. So make your way out there. Just it's gonna be a good time. Get to be grounded. You get to touch your feet in the sand, touch the thing. And now with all that's going on, you want to be grounded, build up your antibiotics for all this stuff that's gonna be going on. Take them shoes off. Put them feet in the sand to touch that water, get in touch with nature. Make sure your body is strong to make it through these pandemics that's coming on and coming up, and fires and all whatever stuff is going on here.
Yeah.
Get in one with nature. The weather is supposed to be beautiful. I think they said about 80.
That's beautiful. Yeah,
80 on Juneteenth. They said that night, I think it may get a little cooler, but for the day, it's supposed to be really beautiful weather. We're going to have entertainment, all kinds of stuff. You're going to learn about your ancestors. And again, it's the day after Father's Day, and come on out. It's going to be great. And we are definitely doing a part 2 to this, because there's more to talk about when it comes to fathers. We are going to do, I think, a whole session on fathers, just fathers.
Yeah.
We love our dads. We just love our dads, and we love being dads, and we love our dads, and it's just great. I'm doing this in tribute to the passing of my dad that I love so much, because he's just the greatest. And Anthony Major is the greatest, and I miss him so much. When I had we were always mentally connected. When I had my kids, he just walked both times. Without knowing anything, he just walked in the delivery room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So at the time, I was like, "How did you know? And I was like, "How did you know?" He's like, "I don't know. I just knew." He just knew. He always just knew certain things.
That's awesome.
And he would always pop up or call or anything, just certain times, he just knew. But he was just great like that. But I was him. So yeah. But yes, so thank you for talking with Tam.
Yeah.
And lighting our community. This is Pastor Mario Hill. And we'll see you guys soon. And please comment. We want to hear your comments. Listen, we want you to join with us, because we need some more insight on Father's Day. So happy Father's Day, all you dads, and we will speak with you soon. All right. See you later.
Happy Father's Day. Thank you.
Okay.
Let my